Yes, we can start.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to join you though virtually. This used to be a nice and vibrant event in the Saskatoon campus, but on the occasion of World Environment Day, which we honor, respect, and comply with every single day. But we mark one particular day in a year in honor of that, though we have missed that line by a few days. Let's celebrate today the World Environment Day through this virtual Prakriti Mela. Before we begin this program, what I will do is just take us through a little bit of a journey of how SAS has been very environmentally friendly, and if I say a very eco-positive company since inception. I can almost trace this history to about 2 decades back. And when we actually built this campus, FACZ, which most of you have seen, some of you, if you're new, you might not have seen. Back in 2000, it was not mandatory to build, let's say, something like a sewage treatment, effluent treatment plant. And it was a lot of money. You could still manage, it was not mandated. But, our chairman, Rajiv, and the board of directors and management basically said, no, let's do everything possible to be a campus that is not simply, glass and other things, but let it be eco-friendly, let it be like a virtual, garden of sorts and a real garden. I don't say virtual garden now because we are not in front of it, but you've seen it, see how beautiful it is. Since then, we've gone a long way. This STP, I remember, every time a customer used to come, I used to literally take them down and show this operation. Of course, take the permission of the plant and machinery people because there are a lot of safety restrictions involved. And our visitors used to be amazed with the kind of things that we would do. That is actually the beginning of the journey. Do you know just this simple investment? Almost 500,000 kiloliters of water is being recycled due to this. We know the themes that we typically talk about: recycle, reuse, and reduce. And in the current context, I think the most powerful change to this we're bringing is how do we reimagine uh, what we do with our resources, which definitely are a challenge. How do we recreate and restore? Let me just, with a lot of pride, recall a few things that we have done in this company exceedingly well. See, even during the lockdown, our FMS team has never been, shy of doing things. They have gone ahead and commissioned a complete rainwater harvesting plant, which will flow back tons and tons of water, kiloliters of water into the environment and recharge the groundwater. We have a large catchment area, and sometimes we used to have flooding and things like that. Now, this entire thing is going to be channelized and managed better. There's also, if you've seen more recently, an initiative to get into biogas. Our lighting has been changed entirely to LED. We also have solar DC, though limited. We also purchase all our electricity requirements from renewable sources like wind energy. We've been managing e-waste through running multiple e-waste management campaigns. We also have a complete corporate social responsibility initiative that not only recycles some of our old computers and renews and refreshes them and gives it to deserving people. In the neighborhood, we have taken a lot of initiatives. For example, a village not too far away from Bangalore, about 60 kilometers, Belagavi, we are providing the entire village of about 300 houses with solar DC. In Domalur, we have built an organic waste composting plant that basically reduces this drudgery of burning leaves and pollution in the neighborhood of the Domblur environment and turns that so-called waste into wealth, which is what Shailendra always keeps talking about. And this wealth in the form of compost is distributed to people. Some of us have taken it home too. We have done other novel things like reducing the use of paper on campus, saying no to plastic. I remember Shaili, many times warned me, "You're not going to carry a plastic bottle," and he made sure all of us changed. One nice but lovely step into being environmentally friendly and conscious. So if you look at this, there is no shortage of these initiatives. Even in our own RO plant, it took a lot of work for our FMS and other environment team to make sure even the plastic containers were removed and they got metal containers designed for the first time to use in water dispensing. So there's no end to these kind of initiatives. And of course, for me, the favorite one in terms of these initiatives has been the beautiful organic farming that we are missing in P2 land. Come every Friday, we used to rush down to the basement or sometimes to the ground floor and buy vegetables grown there, which were lovely. And then, sometimes they would come back on the breakfast table or the lunch table the next day. And people would proudly say, this carrot salad I got is from the carrots from P2 land, or the spinach, palak soppu, or whatever it is from there. So it's actually a very beautiful feeling when I speak about Earth and Prakriti and Earth Warriors in Saskia. There's been other initiatives like seed ball distribution. God knows how many trees it has resulted in. Cleaning the neighborhood areas, multiple things like this. And I always felt very, very proud of our sustainability initiatives and our commitment towards being positive Earth citizens. So with these few words, I kick open the event and I'll hand over this now to Meena, who will talk about turning waste to wealth. Over to you, Meena.
Thank you, sir. Um, Hello, everyone. I'm Minal, and I'm here to demonstrate how to make a few art items to achieve the best out of your in-house waste. As you all know, it's always better to use recycled materials rather than raw materials. So I put together a video showing 3 different craft items made from a single recyclable cardboard box and some simple household items like old CDs and some torn jeans and few more. I'm sure a lot of you have tons of cardboard boxes from online shopping, and I hope you can find innovative ways to recycle and reuse them. In doing so, you not only learn how to be creative, but you also reduce the volume of waste that is sent to the waste land. It reduces pollution, and we can also conserve energy and our natural resources. So I hope you all enjoy the video. Have a great day. Thank you. Stay safe.
Hey Manal, you're on mute right now. If you wanted to just continue. Manal?
So I guess Meenal continues to stay on mute, but that was a beautiful demonstration of what you can really do. And as I said a little earlier, this reminds me of Shaily's favorite thing. You know, you can turn almost anything that's waste into wealth. And I've seen him do this so many times. Good to see you do this, Meenal. It was really very wonderful. Thank you for this demonstration. If you're now in a position to unmute and speak, you may say a few words before we go to maybe Shaili, who will talk to us about his efforts at home.
Hello, am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So actually, I had prepared the video. Can I share it too?
Yeah. You can share it.
So this was the original one that I had made.
Okay.
Audio. Thanks,
I
Meenal.
hope you all enjoyed the video.
Yeah.
I apologize for the mix-up. Hope you also got some new ideas, and you can also come up with your own ideas to reduce, recycle, and reuse. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Well done. That was excellent, Mehul. That was excellent. Over to you, Shaili.
Meenal, could you stop sharing your screen?
Yeah, Meenal, unshare your screen.
Oh yeah, it stopped now.
You can start, Shaili.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Shalana Singh Patil, and I'm going to talk about the waste management at home. So basically, the waste what we generate at home is of two types: solid waste, which is a dry waste, and the wet waste. So how we manage this kind of a waste at home? So Meenal has given a very good demonstration of how to manage the dry waste. You can convert all these dry waste into artistic stuff and some gift items and articles also. It's so easy to manage that, right? But apart from that, you can also segregate the waste, because segregation is the key when we have to manage the waste in effective manner. Now, what happens to the solid waste, what we give it to the municipal corporation people or the Purva Karmikas or the housekeeper who collects the waste from our houses, where it goes at the end? We all know it goes to the landfill, isn't it? And it is not treated in a safe manner, because most of the time the waste is mixed. This goes as in a mixed form. So what happens? The recycling of the waste, which can be recycled, which is of dry waste, plastic, metal, tin, bottles, all that, glass, cannot be recycled in a proper way. So the environmental pollution takes place over there. And we all have seen this problem in majority of cities. The pollution where landfill are created is of the highest level. I mean, it creates all sorts of pollutions there. Water contamination happens, then the air pollution happens, then the rest of the land contamination also happens. So to avoid that, how we can take the responsibility of our waste and treat it in a safe manner on our own. So you might be wondering how it is possible, because if everybody start treating their waste at home, then what would be the great and best place to live? But yes, that is possible. If you take our responsibility, our waste is our responsibility, and do our bit, then it is absolutely possible. So let's see how it is to be done. But before that, as I said, segregation is the key. So this waste has to be segregated in a different types, like solid waste, which is all the dry waste, wet waste, which is all our green waste coming from the kitchen, then the hazardous waste, which we generate in a very nominal form at home, but that also has to be segregated in the separate. Now the plastic and paper waste can be recycled, so you can hand it over to the who takes the waste in our vicinity, or we have soon starting the collection drive in Sask. Once we open the office, there you can deposit even your plastic and paper waste, all the paper waste, your all sort of notepad, notebooks, old books, or even a newspaper waste can be given it to the Saskin waste yard. There we have a process of giving it to the authorized vendor who can recycle the waste. Now, the question is of wet waste, because the life of wet waste is very shallow, so it start decaying in no time. So how we deal with that? So the composting at home is the key, and home composting is the best method, and it's very suitable for any house. Any small house can also even urban houses also can adopt the wet waste composting method at home. So I have created a small video how it is possible and what all it takes to make the compost at home from your kitchen waste. So let's watch the video. So Vishal, may I request you to play the video?
So how to make a compost from
Can
the
you
kitchen?
play the video?
So you can see these are 3 pots here. These are 3 earthen pots. These pots are kept on each other like this, and there is this cover on the top. So what we do is all the kitchen waste. So you can see the kitchen waste which I have connected here. All the vegetables remains, fruit peels, and whatever food remains, cooked food remains, you can collect. Only the wet waste from the kitchen, and that we will put in the first pot. So once this first pot is filled with the kitchen waste, then we shift this pot to the down at the second level, and second can come on the top. And when the first and second both are filled, then we empty the second one in the third one. You have to empty the second one and bring the empty one on the top. So these two only can change the position. So that is how we do it. And after 2 to 2.5 months, you will have compost ready in the last pot. It's very simple. So I'm putting all the kitchen waste here inside. So I use it's almost full now. So I have to shift it to the second level. And then I have this compost, sorry, not compost, the cocoa peat, which is the dry part of the coconut outer shell, which is crushed into the powder. So this cocoa peat is used to spread on this as a layer on the top of your wet waste. So if suppose the wet waste is too much of watery, then this compost can soak the excess water. It also helps to keep the flies away. So this is very useful. So every layer of wet waste, you can put one handful of cocoa peat on top of it. That's it, and the job is done. So it's very simple. It doesn't smell because it naturally it will start decaying now inside the pot, and you will not believe after 2 months you will have a nice compost ready, which you can use it for the gardening. So I generally use it for my gardening here. Also, if it is excess compost, I put it to the big trees down, nearby. So you can make use of that. One best thing of making compost at home is you need not to worry about the waste disposing outside your house. Also, it doesn't go to the landfill and not create the pollution outside your house. So it's very simple. Please do it. Thank you.
Back to you, Shaili.
Yeah, so you all have seen it's so simple, right? And anybody can do that at home. You can keep these 3 pots, earthen pots, anywhere in balcony, or if you have a small place outside your house, you can keep it there. And these pots are available now in the market also. So for Bangalore people, you can go and buy it from the shops. There are shops. If you want to connect to, if you want to have a contact numbers and details about it, you can ask me anytime. For the people who are not in Bangalore, I'm sure in most of the metro cities it is available, but one can buy it online also. Now they are available on online portals as well. So you can shop it, and procedure is written there. You can just start composting at home. My experience, I would like to share. So I started this home composting since now 4 years, and daily we have that, urge to keep the bag outside, the garbage bag outside before the housekeeping people come in the morning. If you miss that, then you are miss the chance. Then you have to keep it inside the house, and that is a big headache, right? Or sometimes people keep it outside in the midnight or before they go to bed, they keep it outside. So all this hassle is gone because waste every day it is going to the compost pots, and the dry waste, it doesn't smell, it doesn't take anything to store in the house. So you can keep all the dry waste, which is metal, paper, plastic, in a one bin for almost 10-15 days, and once in a while it is filled, then you can keep it to and give it to the BBMP people, or as I said, to anybody who can recycle that waste. So it's very simple, and it's very good to have it in the house. So I'm sure you're gonna try it out. If you need any help, any assistance, do let me know. I will be happy to help to start your composting journey. Thank you. So we have a Chaitra now who would share her gardening tips with us. So Chaitra, over to you.
Thank you, Shailendra. Hi, I'm Chaitra. Today I'll be talking a bit about the tips, what I followed for the gardening. So for that, I have just prepared a small presentation. I will just share it. Hope you are able to see.
Yes, Chaitra.
Okay, see, this is actually tips for the indoor gardening. If you can see, there is one picture I have put at the beginning. So after this session, you should be able to sit like this and walk and work. Okay. To start with, so basically when you start the gardening inside the house, the first thing you have to think is where I need to keep the garden, like the pots, and where I need to create a green space in my house. So it actually you have to evaluate the climatic condition of that particular corner of the house. So it should be well lighted, and also it should be good, airy, and also if it is within the reach of your eyes, then it will be good. So one thing is, whenever you go for indoor planting, you need to have a good sunlight, because plants grow well in sunlight. And there may be some areas where it will be indirect lighting or a little bit shady. In that areas, there are certain plants which thrive in the shades. So you can choose those kind of plants also. So once you are ready with the space where you want to keep the plants and you want to grow the plants, you can start looking for the how exactly I'm going to plant it. So I will start with a potting mixture. These potting mixture will be available in market, but it's better to know actually what is the what exactly it contains, so that you can go for a good potting mixture. So here whatever I have put is what I have done in my garden. So here whatever just now Shailendra had explain how to make the compost. So the same compost you can actually use. So 2 parts of that compost and 2 parts of coco peat and 1 pot of soil. So this is a basic potting mixture you need to use. Here, when you use coco peat, what I do is I just soak the coco peat in water overnight, and then I use that so that it will be more effective. Then I use a bit of 1/10 of a part of lime. So this actually helps in maintaining the pH balance of the soil. So whatever the fertilizer you put, it will be taken in very effectively. So this is for the common, like, the plants, but whereas if you go for a succulents, so in succulents, instead of soil, you need to actually put sand so that it thrives well and grows well and healthy. So here is actually I've just put the pictures of how does it exactly look. So coco peat, actually you can get it in market. I think even in Amazon also you can get it. Compost also, you can also go for a vermicompost. And aggregate granulated lime also, you will get it in market. So going to the plants, now how to choose a plant, as I told you earlier. So you have to choose a plant according to your space and lighting. And also when you initially start for this indoor gardening, it's better to go for plants which are actually which actually can sustain the hard environment, and if you can actually be careless for it for some time. So that kind of, I would prefer to go for that kind of plants. So, and if you are going for if your area where you're going to place your plant is all day long sun, then you better go for a succulents as well as the flowering plants. And semi-shade areas, actually you can go for indoor plants. You can actually Google and you will actually get so many indoor plants. As I told you, it's better to prefer for the native plants, because for this particular environment, they thrive well, in which you are actually going to grow the plants. And if you go for something very sensitive plants like orchids or adenium, you need to take a lot of care, and mostly they struggle to strive. This is my experience. So to start with, I would prefer you go for something which is native. So I'll just tell you some of the plants which are actually easy to maintain and are very good also. So start with it is snake plant. Snake plant is actually air purifier, and also it needs very, very less care. And it can, without water, I have seen it, it can actually stay up to 1 month. So it's very strong breed. Actually, you have two variants in it. One is yellow snake plant, another one is the green snake plant. So you can go for both. The next one is peace lily. So this grows in a semi-shade area, and this is also a air purifier, and it actually enhances the beauty of your room, actually, because it keeps on flowering, and it's very good. Pothos is actually what we call as a golden money plant. So this is when you actually look into this plant, it actually gives you a lot of energy. That's what I feel, actually, because it's so fresh and it's so bright. And it's always healthy, and this is also in a semi-shade area. You can actually plant, and this is very, I don't know, inspiring plant actually for me. So actually this you can grow even in water. So you can actually take a glass bowl and put water and place this and put some pebbles, what you put in aquariums. So that also looks very good. For the next one, it is a spider plant. So this is also, you don't have to take a lot of care. So it strives. So it can also actually, it can be placed in the sunny places also, as well as in the semi-shade place. So accordingly, the coloring of the leaf changes. Then we'll go to the rubber plant. This guy is a kind of a carbon sink. And you have to place it in a sunny area, plus it needs a lot of air around it. So this is also a very good plant. So money plant, I think this is a very, very common plant, and he also strives everywhere, like, he doesn't need much of care. You can also put this in water. So the next one is aloe vera. Aloe vera is a medicinal plant, and it's anti-inflammatory and antibacterial properties this has. So this is a kind of a succulent. So it can thrive in sunny places, and this is it's actually very good, and it has got a lot of medicinal values also. And jade is also a succulent. So they say this as a lucky plant. I don't know why, but this also is, you can actually keep it in the sunny areas, and the watering needs to be controlled here. And I think you need to maintain only a moist soil to this, and you don't have to water too much. Plant is again this should be grown in the shady area, and this is actually very ornamental kind of a plant, and this is also good, but it needs some care. And this is for the sunny area. In the windowsill areas, actually you can actually keep this, and it flowers, and it constantly flowers, and you need to take care of this. So if you take care properly, so it will be always flowering. And this is what I have actually planted. That's why I just thought of sharing with you, so that you can go for this initially, and later you can actually do some research and go for the other plants and take care of it. So let's see how to take care of it. That's how I take care. So for the indoor plants, you don't have to water every day. Maybe you have to water once in 2 days. You are the best judge. Just go touch the soil. If it is moist, then you don't have to water. And you should never make it as soggy, because there won't be a lot of sunlight most of the times. So it will start decaying. So you better keep it moist and don't make it as soggy. And whenever you place it inside the house, it's better to actually take it outside for about 15 days or something, so that it will aerate, and then get back so that it will grow healthy. And but don't keep shifting the places of the plant, because it doesn't like it. So it will adjust to certain environment, and after that it will grow well in that environment. So it's better not to keep on shifting the into different areas. So once you actually put it in the pot and start growing, the soil mixture, whichever I have told, you can actually keep it ready, and you can keep on actually putting in the pot, so that it gets enough nutrients. Sometimes what we can you can also use the growth boosters. These growth boosters are available in the market. I would prefer to go for organic products, and this actually makes the plant look healthy, and it will be, and you can feel that shine in that plant. So this is about the care and maintenance. Hope this was useful for you. So happy Environment Day and happy gardening. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah. Chaitra, we have a question from Amita actually. She
Yeah,
just
yeah.
mentions that if it's an indoor plant, we need to give it sun. So I moved them around between the house and to give them sunlight. And she says that you're saying not to move them around too much. So she just
Yeah. I'm just saying that you just take it outside and aerate it, okay? And like, say for example, you have chosen an area in your place near the windowsill or something like that. And you have placed it there, and then next day you think, oh, it doesn't look good there. So I want to move it to some other place. So you move it to some other place inside the house only. So it actually what I have felt is the plant doesn't feel good. The growth actually is very slow in if you keep on changing the plants within the area, like within the room itself. That is what is my observation, Vishal.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, we've got a question from, hold on, Muhammad. He says, how to avoid mold and bacteria growth on indoor plants?
Mold and bacteria growths in indoor plant. That means there is no proper air is what I feel. You can just keep it outside for some time in sunlight and then get it back.
Okay. And Rohit also asked, how do you manage pests who attack the plants, if there are any?
You will get actually a pest in market. What we can use is we can use the neem oil and the turmeric mixture, put it in water and spray on it. So that actually reduces pest a lot.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
Nothing else in the chat so far. You can stop sharing also.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chaitra. Yeah, and if anyone has any further questions for the other speakers, you're welcome to type them out. Until then, I now invite Ekta to just...
Thank you, Vishal. Firstly, I would like to thank Team Intcom for organizing this virtual Prakriti Mela and for giving us the opportunity to gather here today. Now, I would like to thank Minal for sharing such a beautiful and creative way onto how to turn the waste items into decorative and gifting items. Next, I would like to thank Shailendra for teaching us in very interesting and simple way for wet waste composting. It was very informative. And thank you, Chaitra, for putting up a great presentation on the tips and tricks for gardening. It was very useful. Lastly, thank you everyone for taking the time to be here, to be the part of this virtual Prakriti Mela with us. Thank you.
And Swami, any closing thoughts before?
It's so energizing to see this, though virtually, and well, every presentation was classy, and I think I could relate to so much of how we should be caring to plants when Chaitra spoke. I strongly also believe that when you're around plants, you need to have positive thoughts as well. You might think, why is somebody who was an engineer once upon a time saying this? But plants respond to human stimulus. So in terms of where you place them, how you take care of them, really makes a big difference. You might think it's in the realm of science fiction, but I don't. Even when you walk around plants, as I do very often in the beautiful garden that we are fortunate to have in my parents' house, they thrive if you care. And the tips that you shared, Chaitra, are amazing. On top of that, you can ladder it with what Shaili said, to be able to generate your own compost or get compost. I'm glad both of you didn't suggest spraying it with something chemical, but stuck to neem oil which is actually good. I've tried neem oil too, and it really, really works. Even neem oil inside as a mosquito repellent is very good, though you have to just get used to the smell for some time, but it keeps it away. And the beginning, Meenal, when you talked about turning everything that's possibly waste rather than just throwing and accumulating and bringing it to some object of desire, which makes it a unique gift, is a beautiful message. Okay. And as Amita has just reminded us, organic waste compost is available in Saskin Domlur office. I know it's a lockdown now, but if any of you come down to Domlur, you can collect your waste compost and use it. I use this extensively in house garden. Thank you very much, and let's continue to be environmentally friendly, not just today, but every single day for the rest of our lives. That's all I wish to say and conclude this. Big shout out and thanks to the Prakriti team who have been doing this for years and years and years. And also, as always, to my INCOM team for organizing this lovely get together.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. And do provide your feedback in the survey provided. And we hope you have a good evening and stay safe.
Thank you all for joining.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.